The call came while I was staring at the empty plate my wife had forgotten to order for, her birthday dinner. Her friends laughing over $1,000 steaks. Her sister smirking as she carved into a piece so tender it fell apart under the fork. "You should have packed snacks," she whispered, loud enough for the table to hear. My wife didn't defend me. She didn't even look at me. Just kept slicing her steak, pretending I was nothing more than furniture placed wrong. I smiled, a small one, the kind that folds into itself, quiet and razor-thin. "Good to know," I murmured. That was when my phone buzzed, a video call request. My daughter-in-law's name flashing across the screen. Strange, she rarely called me, and never with this kind of urgency. I stepped away from the table, leaving their laughter behind like a stain. The moment I accepted the call, her voice exploded. "If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes!" Her tone carried the same entitlement I heard in my wife's friends, the same thread of casual disrespect, the same presumption that I existed to serve. I didn't answer right away. I let her boil. "Hello?" she snapped. "Did you hear me? Wash the dishes!" I finally spoke. "Enjoy." I ended the call. 10 minutes later, I posted a photo. My villa, Switzerland. Snow like crushed pearls over the balcony rail. My glass of wine, untouched, waiting. My phone rang 71 times. That was the moment I knew something had been wrong long before tonight, and it was time to stop pretending I hadn't noticed. The dinner resumed, but I didn't sit. I watched them, their laughter, their synchronized cruelty. And suddenly, it clicked. This wasn't new. This had been growing like mold under wallpaper. My wife's coldness, her sudden need for girls' nights, her phone turning face down the moment I walked in, the way she flinched when I asked simple questions. Then there were the whispers I overheard last week, her sister saying, "He still doesn't know?" Her awkward, brittle laugh. Let him stay clueless. Something had been festering behind those words, a secret, not small, not harmless. And tonight, with them eating steaks I paid for, while leaving me an empty plate like some unwanted guest in my own life, I felt the truth shifting beneath my feet. Their disregard wasn't accidental, it was practiced. I sat back down, slowly, carefully, like a man preparing to dissect a corpse. They talked over me, around me, never to me. I studied my wife's face, her forced brightness, her averted eyes, her hand sliding her phone under the table whenever it buzzed. Something inside me stepped back, from her, from the room, and watched with icy clarity. I remembered the credit card charges I never made, the hotel in another city, the dinners for two, the spa bookings under a name that wasn't hers. I never confronted her. I let the discomfort grow. I let denial breathe, stretch, settle. But tonight it became impossible to ignore. She wouldn't order for me because I didn't belong at this table. And maybe I hadn't belonged in her life for a long time. I needed the truth, not assumptions, not suspicions, evidence. Something undeniable. I played the part of the quiet husband for 2 more weeks. She played hers, the loving wife, poorly. I watched her habits shift, saw the tremor in her hands when she typed, heard the tone in her voice when she whispered into the phone. I noticed the late-night showers, the sudden need to delete messages, the way her perfume lingered when she returned home late from work. My silence unnerved her. She kept asking, "Are you okay?" I smiled every time. Smiles scare people when they don't know what's behind them. I contacted a private investigator, a man who understood the value of quiet truth. Phone records, GPS logs, hotel bookings, photographs. He delivered everything in a sealed envelope, but I didn't open it, not yet. Suspense is sharper when you let it breathe. Instead, I created distance, stopped asking questions, stopped caring aloud. Inside, all I did was watch. One night, she left her phone unlocked on the couch. The screen lit up. Room is ready. From a number saved as Salon. My pulse didn't quicken, my chest didn't tighten. There was only silence inside me. A vast, chilled space where something had once lived. I waited. She returned home an hour later than she said she would. Smile too bright, hair too perfect, perfume too fresh. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Yes," I said, a lie she wanted to believe. I watched her sleep that night, not with affection, with observation. She mumbled a name, a man's. I memorized it. The next morning, she made breakfast like nothing had cracked. Eggs, toast, her hands slightly trembling. I wanted to tell her I knew, that her performance was slipping. But revelations are weapons, and weapons are useless if you strike too early. I needed the truth sealed, verified, undeniable. I scheduled the DNA test I'd been avoiding, the one that would answer the question pressing against my ribs. Was our daughter mine? The possibility that she wasn't felt like a blade held just above my skin. I stayed calm, I stayed quiet, and I waited for the moment everything would collapse. The results arrived on a cold Thursday morning, a thick envelope, plain, heavy. I carried it into my office like it was a live explosive, closed the door, sat. My hands didn't shake. They felt removed, as though they belonged to someone watching from above. I opened the envelope, read, then read again. 0% paternity. My chest didn't collapse. No cry tore through my throat. Everything simply went quiet. Dead quiet, like the last flame in a room full of ash. I folded the paper with surgical precision, stood, walked to the living room. She was on the couch scrolling through her phone, unaware that her world had already ended. I handed her the envelope. "What's this?" she asked, in the tone of someone expecting a bill. I didn't answer. She opened it. Her face drained. Color vanished from her skin like someone had pulled a plug. She looked up, eyes wide, lips shaking. I can explain." I stayed still. No anger, no raised voice, just stillness so absolute it frightened her. "Who is he?" I asked quietly. Her breath caught. Her fingers curled around the paper. I made a mistake." "I didn't ask about the past," I said. "Tell me who he is." She broke, completely. Tears, rambling apologies, begging. I watched without blinking. The truth had a shape now, a name, a face, a betrayal measured not in years but in silence. I understood then. Her cruelty wasn't born today. It had been growing since the first lie. I didn't scream, didn't curse. I simply walked to the kitchen, opened my laptop, and projected the photos from Switzerland onto the living room TV. The villa, the balcony, the snow, the life she had mocked me for not having. Her breath hitched. You never told me you bought a villa. You never asked." She swallowed hard. The room felt colder. "You're leaving?" she whispered. "No," I said. "I left a long time ago." Her body crumpled into the couch. I continued, calm and exact. "I transferred everything out of the joint account last month. You'll receive the divorce papers tonight. And as for your lover?" She jolted. "Yes," I said, "I know." Her tears came harder. "I didn't expose you to punish you," I added. "I exposed you to free myself." She reached for me, desperate. I stepped back. "Goodbye," I said softly. Not cruel, just final. I walked out the door as she sobbed into the DNA report. The villa key was already in my pocket. The flight to Switzerland was quiet, peaceful, almost sterile. I didn't replay the betrayal. I didn't imagine her face when she read the results again. I didn't feel loss, only space, room where grief had once lived. The villa greeted me with silence, snow falling like soft ash beyond the glass. I poured myself a drink, not to celebrate, to acknowledge. Some truths hurt more because they free you. I stared at the mountains, quiet, ancient, indifferent. A fitting audience for the final realization. She didn't break me. She revealed me. revealed what leaving felt like, what choosing myself felt like, what ending a slow death felt like. I took a long breath, cold, clean, uncomplicated, and in that breath I understood everything. I hadn't lost a family, I had escaped a cage. My last thought before sleep settled over me like snowfall. Some people don't deserve your anger, just your absence.